One. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Life is Better with Music with Gavin and Mitchell. This is the premiere to season five. If you don't remember kind of what we're going to be doing at the start of this season, is this episode specifically is going to be Mitchell just kind of telling us his musical journey. Uh, I'm just gonna kind of sit back, relax, listen to what he has to say. Because there are some things that I probably won't even know. But there'll probably be a decent amount of things, and then next week we'll kind of do the same thing, but with me, and then we'll start diving into other topics. We'll have other guests jump onto the show, so they can kind of do the same thing, discuss their musical journey, what really was a huge part of their musical process. Like Mitchell's is like jazz per se that we'll get into a little bit later, and then mine is like wind ensemble and parts of marching band that really have shaped what my musical journey has all been about. So, without further ado, I'm gonna hand it off to Mitchell here.
All right. So let's just get right into this. So I started playing French horn in sixth grade, outside of like the little general music classes that you take in elementary school, like with the xylophones and the
Recorders.
marimbas. Yeah, and oh God. Oh no, those are not fun. Um, those were annoying. Uh, but outside of that, I started playing horn in sixth grade and at middle school. Kind of loved playing horn in sixth grade, and then seventh grade, my dad was like, "You should try out for jazz band." So I tried out for jazz band. It was like a cut thing in middle school as well, or middle school, and I made it into the top, jazz band. Um, I made it into jazz one technically because we had two jazz bands that year actually. And I was actually playing French horn in jazz band, which was super fun. And I was taking solos, like 12 bar blues, improv, whatever things on a horn, which is really fun, and I really enjoyed that. Then eighth grade was kind of the same thing. And then it kind of all really changed when I hit high school because I signed up to do marching band, and I had a decent idea because I knew people whose siblings were in it. Um, and I had a somewhat decent idea of what I'm getting myself into. But then again, at the same time, I really did not. Um, after the first week of band camp, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. This
Mhm.
sucks. After the first day of band camp, I was sitting at home, Tylenol, feet, pain, miserable, standing, all
Tennis
that.
ball feet.
Oh God, yeah, yeah, essentially those if I didn't really know about that, but yes. Um, but stick with it. Went through the season, very fun but challenging season, which culminated in our first grade national championship out of my career. We had two already, but 2016 was our first. I was my first of three that I didn't know about. But Mellophone was fantastic. I had a lot of fun doing that. So I was in basketball band, like pep band that we had. Playing Mellophone, it was fun too. It was fun doing that. And then sophomore year, same, showed up to band camp uh, again. Went through the season as a sophomore, so I had a little bit of experience and had a better idea of what I was getting myself into. And that summer, I started going to DCI shows, which really kind of kickstarted a lot of stuff later on.
Hmm.
Um, but 2017, met a lot of people, met some really fun people. Uh, we went out to California because every 4 years we do a big band trip, and actually we were supposed to do so like if you follow that 2021 Macy's was supposed to be where Karma went when Karma went to Macy's, but COVID kind of said no um to that, but that's in the future. 2017 was fun. Went out to California, skipped state circuit, which is fine because ISMA's gross and stupid. Um hate ISMA. I really do. I really, really. It's so just ugh, whatever. Um, and then 2018 happened. Obviously 2017 we won all the captions again. Which was really fun. Really, really interesting. I mean, personally, as part of the group, the whole group, we kind of had a good feeling about what was going to happen going into 2017, or at least going into nationals, because we had already beaten Avon at Indy Super. We had already beaten them in Dayton that year at BOA Dayton. Um, and we were like, okay, you know what? Our only real like our only fear is Broken Arrow. Um, and Broken Arrow had a hell of a show that year too. But 2018 kind of really kickstarted a lot of different things. Um, so walking into it, Carmel 2 straight national championships. What are you gonna do? Defeat them for a third or let them go three? Um, we um we kind of just had a fantastic show that year. 2016 was Adagio Presto, so Mahler's fifth and Rachmaninoff. 17 was Meditation by Thais and Spiegel and Spiegel by Arvo Part. And 18 was probably some of my favorite music. Mahler's second. That was In the Ring Cycle by Gustav Mahler and Richard Wagner. So Vikings, big metal Viking dragon ship, Killing of Viking Warrior, Rebirth, Valhalla, Resurrection, Mahler 2, yada yada yada. Fun season, ended in a state title, which we were completely shocked about. Um, was not expecting it at all because we quote unquote won the semi-state competition, but Ben Davis is actually a wind tunnel essentially, where it's every semi-state is just windy as heck. So apparently we had won, but none of us were like, "Oh, cruel, we're gonna win state." No, it's ISMA. We are gonna get screwed by state. We are gonna get screwed by ISMA at state. Um, so when they announced Avon in second place that year, when we were all bracing for second, we're like, "Excuse me, what's going on?" Um, and we hadn't been to state in 2017 because we skipped it to go to California, which was fun. And that same with Avon. Avon went out to San Antonio that year, which allowed Homestead to win the state championship that year. Um, 2018 was fantastic. We were all kind of just like, okay, we're gonna come in and get wrecked by Broken Arrow and Tarpon. We were not expecting what happened. Uh, Trust me, I know you weren't expecting it either.
Nobody
I
was.
No, no, we
As
weren't
soon as
expecting.
fifth place is announced, everyone's like,
Yeah, we were standing by right next to you guys in break rank or
"Who
in retreat,
switched the
and
scores?" Like,
excuse me here, what's going on? And then they announced Broken Arrow in fourth place, and we're like, oh,
and then,
this might actually happen.
and the funny thing is, and this is just a side note, and
No,
it was Blue Springs, wasn't on anyone's radar,
no. And then they took
and then
visual from us in semis, and
yeah, and they just
we're like,
randomly
who are you?
like, like, where did you come from?
Who are you? What are you doing in interrupting my three-peat?
And this
Um,
is the thing is this is another side note, and I'll say it more next week on mine, but I have a recording because I brought my GoPro on the field because I was like for sure I think we're gonna win. So I
yeah.
have all of retreat in
Oh,
my GoPro.
I want to see that. I haven't seen that. You haven't
Yeah.
told me
So
that.
you can literally just see like us all let go of each other's hands and go. And then
Huh.
I turn my GoPro off. It's
See,
like
when we were standing next to you guys in retreat, we were just looking over at you guys announced in fifth. We're just like, oh,
you could just
cool.
see all we were all like, okay, like
Yeah,
we're ready. And then we
yeah.
just all went
Ah, cool.
like, okay,
Um,
whatever. But continue.
you know, 2018 was super fun. I love performing that in the Siegfried Horn call. Um, then 19 happened and Texpocalypse happened. Broken Arrow didn't come back, Tarpon didn't come back. Um, Still a fun season, I really didn't have any, I had fun during the season. It was my senior season, so I was enjoying it. Played music from the Queen Symphony. It was probably some of my favorite music that I've ever played. and
Hmm.
I absolutely loved playing and performing that. Um, Lost to a questionable show, but I'll go out and say it. This is my episode. This is my opinions. This is my episode here. Um, I'm gonna say the wrong Texas
Plug your
band
ears,
won.
Texas.
The wrong Texas band won. Hebron should have dominated everyone, but apparently they gave it to Vandergrift and put Avon over us. Whatever. Cool. Good for them. Um, See, we were standing next to a certain band. I will not say it on podcast because I don't want to name drop unless, you know what? I'll name drop. Uh, actually, never mind. I'll tell you
Let's
later.
say.
No. There was some, I will say this certain band when they were announcing fifth, they audibly said right next to us, our show was way better than Carmel's. Um, and then when we were announced in fourth, it's like, oh, cool, nice. Um, you know, but after that, total of three national championships, a state title, two runner-ups at state, um, and various BOA regional titles and super regional titles. Um, Kind of, you're like, okay, cool. And then after that, I had decided to take the step into drum corps. Um, had a couple auditions, or at least a couple auditions scheduled. Um, I actually auditioned for the cadets and right like the audition season for 2020. Got cut. Um, Went to sign up and audition for Boston. Um, got sick for the audition,
I still can't believe
unfortunately.
that, man. We would have marched
I
together. I'm
I
telling
know we
you.
would have, dude. Man, I probably still would have. I'm and then COVID happened, and then I was contracted in 2021 with the cadets. I had a fun season out there. Great to perform the show that we did, and play the music that from such a storied corps such as the cadets. Some of the charts that made them famous and some of their best shows.
Hmm.
You know, the uh, oh, excuse me, caffeine. Um, Carbonated beverages. '05, the '05 ballad, Dancer in the Dark, best ballad in DCI history. Um, I don't think that's up for debate.
Hmm.
I don't. I think that's the best ballad in DCI history. Um,
We'll agree to disagree.
well, I
It's
want to
your
hear yours.
episode. It's your
I'm
episode.
curious. I'm curious. I want to hear
We'll
yours.
talk about it next week.
Okay, cool. Um,
Remind me.
I will. But after 21, I started college and I've been in college band for the past 3 years, but I also stepped into teaching, which was really fun. And I taught Henry Clay High School down here in Lexington. Um, I was their brass, I was like their mellophone visual, kind of like do it all guy, but specifically mellophone and visual tech. But I had a lot of fun over there, a lot of fun working with the people on the staff there and working with the kids there. Really fantastic group of kids. And then didn't make it cadets for 22. A little bit of heartbreak there. I auditioned for a couple other corps. Then deciding, hey, if it's not, deciding some of those corps just weren't for me. Then I decided to look around for teaching jobs in the summer of 22. And, while still going to DCI and whatnot, and, I went to DCI in 18, DCI in 19, DCI in 17. So, got to watch Metamorph in real time, Babylon, Dreams of Nighthawk, Session 44. Um,
Babylon.
Rest in peace, Santa Clara Vanguard. They're dead. There's no way. Um, Business major says no. Uh, let's see. And then 21 happened and got to see some shows from the sidelines, but got to be on tour and experience that for whatever little 2 weeks it was. Um, and then teaching at Henry Clay, and then came back here, went to a bowl game with the band here, went to Orlando for the Citrus Bowl, fun performance. I And then in the summer of 22, I taught the Pride of Westfield as their high brass tech, and I really, really had a good time doing that. Had a great time teaching those kids and helping them win a state title in their class, and become first time BOA finalists at their very first show, and they had a respectable top 20 finish at Indy Super this past year, which was fantastic. Um, and at that point, after that, auditioned for a couple other drum corps. Then I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna lay off my age out season and just move on and pursue other opportunities with school and teaching. And I know this hasn't really been said, but I was offered a couple gigs over the summer and fall, and I have decided to accept a position as the trumpet tech and visual tech for the George Rogers Clark High School marching band down in Winchester, which is one of the top historical bands in the state of Kentucky. Every year they're state finalists and top class. They're a really good group and have a lot of potential. And you know, uh, hopefully I outside of that, hopefully I can, maybe even look at doing indoor. We'll see, we'll
Maybe.
see,
We'll
we'll see.
see.
But I really had there a lot of it was marching band was a really big part of my life, and kind of kept me, kind of got me all the choices and all the decisions I've made with this activity have kind of gotten me to where I am today, in a position where I can say, yeah, I've taught at a state champion group, and I've also, now I'm going to be teaching, I've taught at some pretty well-known schools. And now I'm at the position where I can say to almost anyone in terms of in the music field and they're looking for a tech, hey, I've won a national championship, I've won a state title, I've done drum corps, I've taught two other groups.
Hmm.
Um, so I can really just pad my resume with that in terms of musical stuff, but learned a lot from my directors over the years. Not just about being a musician, but being a good person. I love my directors at Carmel. I still go back, and now that my brother's in the group, still go back and watch them and see how they're doing. And even though now this past year was officially the last year that I knew people in the group that I'd marched with, I still plan on going back and seeing and watching and saying hi to my directors because I like to tell them about what I'm doing and they like to hear about that. Um, I have a lot of friends from band, a lot of friends all over that I've marched with. I haven't, um, some friends that are, some really good friends that I keep in touch with, even at college, and even making friends here at college in the band. And I personally I love, I do play horn. I loved concert band, and all the way up through freshman year of high school. And it's not that I don't like concert band, it's just I found playing mellophone and playing trumpet and jazz band a lot more fun than
Hmm.
playing concert band. That's not to say that I don't enjoy playing horn, whenever I will ever pick up a horn next, that'll be TBD. But we'll see what life has for me. But it's really marching band and jazz that have really been the biggest things for me. I really enjoy playing in jazz band. I've played in jazz band since seventh grade. I've played every year since seventh grade, and I'm a junior in college. So we're going strong with that. I started playing trumpet in freshman year of high school because Carmel High School we didn't do horns and jazz band, which a little bummed, but at the same time I understand it. But I do love hearing a good jazz French horn piece. I do enjoy hearing that. Same with, marching band, obviously marching band and jazz are a little foreign concepts to each other, but and
Hmm.
sometimes if you don't teach swing style right, you're gonna try to epically fail to put on a any jazz kind of vibes for any musical selections that you do on the field. Um, I personally believe it's really about the teaching in terms of the swing style, and if you're gonna do something with jazz on the marching field, you're gonna have to teach it right because there are some
Yeah,
times that it
most
just
definitely.
goes completely just flops in your face, and that's not the kid's fault. That's not the direct. It's just about how you teach and how you articulate in that aspect. But we're gonna pivot with that from jazz. Like I love jazz. There's a lot of charts that I love. Uh, and there's a lot of them that have made their way to the football field. I love Caravan by Duke Ellington, um, Chameleon by Herbie Hancock, St. Louis Blues, fantastic chart, which was actually in the um, definitely was actually in the Cadets 2022 show, Rearview Mirror, which was really fun. But probably my most favorite thing that I've played, like in terms of jazz, and like if we're talking about jazz and marching band, would be our Moondance segment of our 2021 show, Shall Always Be, by Van Morrison. Fun chart. And the Cadets played in 2001 as part of their show Juxta Performance. But this was our arrangement, and it was a new rendition of our Cadets Moondance.
Let's go. It's time to run moon dance. Let's get this party started.
Tenors, let's go. Let's do some moon dance. Remember, you gotta find the pocket, feel the groove, and just swing.
I've always loved that
But,
clip.
yeah, yeah, I love playing Moondance. That was really cool to, a lot of cores. There are a lot of cores that, decided to use jazz in their show. Obviously some of them are more
Blue Devils
prominent.
a lot.
Blue Devils does it. Spirit of Atlanta is notorious for it. That's
Oh,
really
heck
why they're
yeah.
um, Georgia on My Mind, fantastic rendition. I love watching that. There's the Blue Coats do it a lot.
Blue coats.
Obviously Great Kick in the Sky. Session 44 was just notoriously just completely jazz.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple other groups, but Cadets are also one. We've played Swing Swing Swing, Moondance, St. Louis Blues, along with a couple other charts, but it was really cool to play that, playing a piece of history there, within the marching arts activity, and really learning about it too. Obviously we actually had there were some alumni, there's some people on the design staff who were alumni of the group. Fun fact actually that trombone in 2001, it was actually a mellophone written like improv. It was like a mellophone improv fade off
As
into
it
the.
should be.
Yeah, that was my one issue with the design is if we're gonna do this,
Let's do it with a mellow.
let a mellow do it. And
Mellow, mellow.
given that there wasn't too many people in that section that, from what I could gather, had a lot of experience in jazz before playing, in the ensemble,
Mm-hmm.
who have taken different blues solos and everything. I was like, let's do it. Let's do it. Let me rip.
Listen, I don't even have to
Um,
do anything else.
yeah,
I'll
exactly.
just play the moon dance.
Oh man. But yeah, no, I do love playing in jazz and marching band, I do love what I do. I do love always playing and just having a good time with it. But
Sweet.
yeah, that really kind of wraps my musical journey up. Um, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, again, there were some things that I didn't, I knew before, but I probably forgot because it was like you told me one time,
Yeah.
and then there were some new things I learned. So hopefully everybody in the audience just understands that every person has a different musical background. Like next week when we dive into mine, like you're gonna see how different his and my journey is. And I say, no, I've done jazz band, but again, we'll get into it next week. But what, like for me, kind of like a sneak peek is like I find wind ensemble as a big part of my musical journey, but I find marching band an also huge part of my journey. And so it's kind of like I have those two like golden bricks, and it's like I love French horn, but I also love my mellophone.
Mm-hmm.
I love my mellophone probably a little bit more, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like I still
Mm-hmm.
have to respect my uh kind of the roots of music to my wind
Right.
ensemble, which is kind of
Yeah.
where I'll get that from next week. But I mean, yeah, I mean thank you for like diving into that because again
Yeah.
I learned some new things and it's crazy how everyone's journey is different. So if you guys want to jump on here, kind of show your journey off to the world, talk about it, um, just shoot us an email on the contact page from the website and we'll get you set up. And but I mean, besides for that, I think that's it. And I think um, make sure you're following all the social media platforms. Subscribing on YouTube, sharing all this stuff to your friends if they
Mm-hmm.
have a musical journey that they want to get out, especially like a really one that really maybe like everyone's is like significant, but there are some that just may be like crazy, like a deaf person playing trumpet. Like there and there's plenty
Wasn't
of
that
people.
in or was it a blind? I saw something about either a blind or a deaf person in like I think it was Miamisburg? I don't know.
Something.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
Like
I heard something about
I heard
that.
something about that. I thought that was really, really, really awesome.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and the thing about like music is, say I'm playing my trumpet.
Yeah.
Like I could be blind and play my trumpet
Oh, you definitely
because
can.
I have my ears to listen to tone. I have my fingers. I can feel where the valves are. But imagine being deaf
That would be
and
interesting.
all you have is vibration, but you can see.
Yeah.
And that's what a tuner comes into play. But I mean, just like anything, everyone's journey is very special. And I've heard some amazing stories personally that I would love to get people I know personally on here. And I'm going to try and reach out to some of them to see if they're willing to explore this stuff. But we won't hold you guys here any longer. Make sure to tune in next week. We'll dive into mine and then we'll start opening it up to some guests and all that stuff going on. And then if we don't have a guest for that week, we're going to dive into a topic. We may do some drum corps debating because we're building up into the drum corps season. Maybe
Yep.
settle the Babylon and Dreams and Nighthawks problem. But that
All I
problem
can
was
say
already
is
resolved because the
all
true
I can
winner
say
got
is
it. So
one core is fielding, one is not.
well, I don't. It's not the performer's fault. So
No, it's not the
just
performer's
gonna
fault.
say that now.
No,
But
of course not.
without further ado, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all next week. Peace out.